Mark Rogers TV talking some Miami football, and we bring in Alonzo Oliver. You can catch him right on YouTube. You just look up Alonzo1219, the U family, and you got to catch his Miami channel because it is some serious and some fun college football analysis. So, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good, man.
Yeah, you've been working a little bit, huh?
Got us working crazy, man. You're going in at 5, not getting home about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. You know, sun up to sundown hours, but still got to do this right here. Enjoy doing this. So,
well, we appreciate you coming on because when you're working those kind of hours, you just want to kick back and enjoy the couple hours that you have every day. So we won't make this real long, but we appreciate you talking to us because Miami, boy, what a story this season, huh? 10-0. I think the last time we talked was prior to Virginia Tech and Notre Dame, and the team was winning all those games, but weren't looking real impressive against the likes of North Carolina and some other teams. But wow, those two games in particular against really quality opponents, they came out guns a-blazing and really took control.
well, we owed Virginia Tech that beating we gave them, but Notre Dame was probably the most enjoyable win I've had in 10 years because I'm pretty sure Notre Dame fans know that we can't stand them and they can't stand us. So to embarrass them and look at Kelly face turn red, pinker than your shirt. I mean, it was Brian Kelly face turn pinker than your shirt was definitely icing on the cake to embarrass them the way we did. Didn't see it coming. I don't think no one had seen it coming. Not even coach, but it was definitely enjoyable and deserving of the ranking that they are right now just because of what they did over the past 3 weeks.
You know, I didn't see it coming either. I picked Miami to win that game, but I said 27-24, something in that range, because it's not like an early season matchup where you don't have much of a track record and you just kind of project that a team's good. Notre Dame had just beaten North Carolina State, which I think is a really good ACC team, by 3 touchdowns. They beat USC, and USC's a little dysfunctional. They're a little quirky, but loaded with talent. Beat them by 5 touchdowns. And for you to go in there in that game and dominate that Notre Dame ground attack was extremely impressive. And you mentioned Brian Kelly's look on his face. You know, the last time I saw Brian Kelly look like that shell-shocked, was when they got smoked by Alabama in the 2012 National Championship game, where he just knew that he didn't expect it and he had no answers and his team was just beaten to a pulp.
And we actually beat them worse in that game. You know, it was a worse score in that game. And I got who is one of the assistants is on Notre Dame, but his pregame, you know, disrespectful the way he was talking about Miami. I could have seen his face during the game, and because you know it's love and hate between Florida and Miami. It's a hate between Miami and Notre Dame. I'll never respect them as an analyst. If I was to get on SportsCenter on ESPN, I would never respect Notre Dame just because of the Catholic versus convict thing and how smug a lot of those guys are. So I enjoyed Leprechaun from South Bend. You know, and to me, it was something big for the University of Miami to be able to get out there and dominate Notre Dame the way we did. That was big. The next week against Virginia this was definitely a trap game. It was tough to watch, but to go 30 unanswered and the way the defense played lights out in the second half and the offense played very, very good in the second half. It's emotional to watch Miami grow so fast when we're definitely a year or two ahead of schedule right now. That's definitely a good feeling. Still unfinished business, but it's definitely a good feeling.
If you love Miami football, if you like college football, you go over to the YouTube channel that we got Alonzo Oliver talking Canes constantly, giving game recaps, analysis, previews, and so forth. Alonzo1219, the U family right there. Just look it up and you will find some top-notch Miami football coverage and some fun stuff as well. What has really impressed you about this team? I know we talked about it early in the season. You may, from a record standpoint, not have expected them to arrive this soon, but what's surprised you in a good way?
Well, DJ Dallas. DJ Dallas has definitely surprised me. I remember my preseason video, and I said that I think DJ Dallas would be a heck of a running back. And there were, people that were disagreeing with me, deservingly so, because he never really played running back. He was a quarterback. But I just felt like he had the build and the way he saw the field and everything. And I expect him to be pretty good at every position, but as good as he is at running back right now, it's definitely a surprise. I thought it could be pretty good, but he turned out to be a heck of a backup running back right now for University of Miami. So he's probably my biggest surprise on what I'm seeing from him.
Alonzo, I got to say that Virginia brought the house quite a bit, and that was probably a good defensive game plan. But Miami's offensive line held up most of the time. There were some issues against Virginia's pass rush, but when they bring everybody, you're going to be outnumbered. But between the offensive line and this secondary, those are the two units that I think are the big keys to what's going on right now, just because the offensive line is playing much better than it has in years and years and years. The secondary's been good, but you lost so much talent from last year's team. That was kind of a question mark. And this defensive secondary has been lights out.
Yeah,
most of the time.
The secondary is definitely big because we lost so much last year. And Corn Elder was a huge loss, and definitely did not expect for Malik Young and these young guys to come in and play as well as they're playing. Trajan Bandy, freshmen to get in there and play the way they're playing. So the secondary is definitely big to see those young guys playing as well as they are. Offensive line, they're playing very well. Would like to see a little bit more push out of those guys when it comes to the running game. Like to see those guys be able to push a little bit more, but they're holding their spots. They're holding their own right now, and I think that our running game would help them a little more if they were more decisive on hitting holes instead of dancing around the backfield. So it's a combination of both. But you hit it dead on. Last year, offensive line was a combination of play calling too, getting rid of the ball faster. Doing those things as well, but last year our offensive line couldn't block me or you. It was really bad, and we couldn't get the ball fast enough. But Malik Rozier is another reason why the offensive line looks better, because he's able to scramble and get outside the pocket, and those ball plays, especially down on the goal line and on 3rd and 6 when he has an option to run the draw or pass, and he sees the field wide open because people are bailing. And it's a combination of everything, but the O-line is definitely a lot better. You can get that to the strength and the conditioning coach. He's gotten them a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Brad Kyatt was a capable college quarterback, a fine passer, but just a pocket guy that's going to be sitting on his platform, and that's where he wanted to be. So the defensive line always knew where to find him, and he wasn't going to pose any threat. So as long as you've got contain, you could wrap him right up, and he's not going to break contain and threaten the defense that way. So just a completely different ball game when you're talking Malik Rozier and what he can do with his legs. When you look at this game coming up with Pitt, you've seen these boys play 10 times now, and they're getting better and better and better, and they're playing better against the better competition. And like you say, trap game against Virginia, I was impressed with the Virginia quarterback, Kurt Benkert. He was just on fire for about 3 quarters. It couldn't last. And for that team to finish off with 30 consecutive points, down by 2 touchdowns on 2 occasions to avoid the letdown, was mighty impressive. And now they play Pitt on the road. It's going to be a little chilly outside. Pitt's not a real good football team at 4-7, probably their worst team in quite a few years, but it's not going to be the best of circumstances out there for the Canes.
We're not a good enough team to worry about how bad another team is. Especially going into the cold. Most of these young guys have never been anywhere cold their whole life. So you're gonna have to go up to Pitt when it's probably gonna be in the mid to upper 30s. You know, maybe starting the game. Games are what, a noon game, somewhere around that. So it's gonna be cold and probably wet, maybe a little rainy. Um, and the last time we played in cold weather was in Texas. I remember that game when it snowed and we ran out of the stadium. That won't happen this time, but you definitely can't look past a Pitt team that's always tough. Whether their record is bad, they play a tough style of defense and always got a decent running game. But we can't let the team look past a team like that. You know what I'm saying? With now national championship aspirations, which we never thought we would say that this year. You can't step up against a team like Pitt with national championship aspirations.
So, Zoe, you're taking us all the way back to the Cotton Bowl. You're taking us back to that route of Texas, going all the way back.
No, I'm taking this a couple years back when we were in
Luke Falk in Washington State.
Yeah, we were in.
I was going to say, I remember that game, the Sun Bowl. There were snow flurries. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that game.
We got ran out. We got ran out of El Paso.
So it was a close ball game. It was a close game.
I think we got beat pretty bad that game there.
That was a pretty close game, though. That was a close game. I remember scores. I'm thinking you lost that game by less than a touchdown.
It might have been, but it didn't look that good. It didn't look that good. So, okay.
I will tell you so that I'm up here in Connecticut, and the wind is howling out there, and it's cold. So if you live in the Midwest or the Northeast and it's late November, it could be high 50, 60 degrees, or it could be 25 or 30. You have no idea what it's going to be. And it's been one of those weeks where it went from about 75 10 days ago to, down into the upper 30s. And I can hear the wind right now howling. So I don't know, Pittsburgh's about 5 to 6 hours away, but it's still roughly in that same weather range. So it's not going to be real comfortable for those boys. And when those, as you know, when those pads pop, when it's that cold, it doesn't feel real good.
It doesn't. I tell people all the time. I remember me and my brother was driving from Miami a couple years back to South Carolina from a game. And we had left Miami and then we pulled up in Georgia. We stopped to fill gas up in Georgia. We had on shorts and a T-shirt, and we got out of the car, and it was like 35 degrees. We left Miami, it was 95. It was like a world change. It was like, oh my. And that's what it's like for a bunch of young men that have never left South Florida, really, So a lot of freshmen on this team, and they're going to have to definitely be prepared. And they definitely can't look past Pitt, trying to go 11-0 and get into the ACC championship game. But the resilience of this team has a lot to do with that hurricane. Those guys were apart for a long time and had to fight together and scrap together and do those things. So I really believe that had a lot to do with how close they grew, how fast they did it. So I don't think they're looking past nobody because so many teams look past them.
All right, we got Pitt hosting Miami coming up on Friday, the regular season finale for both teams, and that's it for Pitt. They're done in 2017 at 4-7. They're not going to make a bowl game, but for Miami, they've got a ton to play for with this college football playoff appearance, and of course, they will be in the ACC championship game against Clemson. Pitt with a down season, but still coming off a decent effort at Virginia Tech. Only lost 20-14 in that one. Ben DiNucci's their backup quarterback. They lost their starting quarterback quite a few weeks ago in Max Brown. Just a forgettable season for Pat Narduzzi and company. So before we let you go, Zoe, because we know you need to rest up and enjoy the holiday weekend here, your thoughts about the college football playoff, where Miami sits right now, and more importantly, we know if they win out, they're undefeated, they're in it. If they lose a close ACC championship game, what are your thoughts about whether they would deserve to go, and would they go?
Well, I'm looking at it like if they were to lose a close ACC championship game and Wisconsin was to lose, there is no way you could keep Miami out, in my opinion. There's not a team would have a better loss on their record, than Miami, to lose in the title game. So if you hold them out because of that, I think that would be disrespectful, really, to college football, especially with Wisconsin. If they were to lose to Ohio State, which has 2 losses as well. Alabama, if they lose to Auburn, a good loss as well, because they would only have 1 loss. So you would have Oklahoma, who lost to a team that had a linebacker playing quarterback, Iowa or something like that.
Yes.
Their quarterback, they had a linebacker playing quarterback, and they beat Oklahoma. Converted line. I think he played linebacker. He used to play quarterback in high school and then playing linebacker for Oklahoma. I mean,
he's a linebacker right now.
Yeah, he was a linebacker before that game.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. So you take that loss from Oklahoma, and then you take Miami losing in an ACC championship game to a team only got 1 loss and been in 2 back-to-back national championships. There would be no reason for them to hold Miami out. I think that's also why they moved them to number 2, just because of that scenario. So that way you don't fall 3-4 spots. So
it's an interesting situation. Not just to clarify the Iowa State situation. Their starting quarterback Jacob Park, who transferred from Georgia, he was a 5-star guy. Transferred from Georgia when he couldn't win the job there. He won the Iowa State job and displaced their starting quarterback, who moved back, like you say, to linebacker and was their starting middle linebacker these past 2 seasons, who had to come back and play quarterback because Park got hurt. And then they also played their 3rd-string quarterback. They kind of moved him back in and out. Their former linebacker and current linebacker is the running quarterback, and then they brought in their 3rd-string quarterback who hadn't thrown more than 3 passes in his career, and he lit up Oklahoma. What's going to be difficult for Miami is, even if they lose a close game against Clemson, if Auburn wins the SEC championship, close game over Alabama, and Wisconsin goes undefeated, and Oklahoma wins out with only 1 loss as the Big 12 champion, then you got Auburn, Wisconsin, Alabama, Oklahoma, and I'm not even counting Clemson, who, of course, is going to be in because they won the ACC. That would be the tough go for Miami.
It wouldn't be for me. Auburn got 2 losses. I mean,
but if they win the SEC, I think they're in.
We have a tougher, but strength of schedule, our strength of schedule is tougher. You win the ACC, I'm fine with that. But SEC, I'm fine with that. But you still have 2 losses. You're going to throw Alabama in, and they didn't win the SEC. You know what I'm saying? So you would throw Alabama in, they don't win the SEC. We would throw Auburn in with 2 losses, even win the SEC. And who lost to a team without a quarterback. And it's like you would punish a team for losing to a national a defending national champion and back-to-back appearances in the national championship. They could do it that way, but not just me as a Miami fan. Me as a fan of football would look at it like, how do you throw a 2-loss team ahead of a 1-loss team where the 1-loss team had a tougher strength of schedule? They beat Georgia. I appreciate that, but to me, Georgia was almost like Notre Dame. They're a one-trick pony. If you could stop the run, you could beat Georgia.
Yeah.
That was the same. Georgia was ranked number 1. Notre Dame was ranked number 3.
I'm not telling you what I would do. I'm just telling you what I think would happen.
I'm agreeing with. It's tough for me to even think that way, but I know how these college playoff things work out. But I can say this here: if they were going by just how hyped it would be, there's nothing more hype than college football right now than that turnover chain. The fans would be out, the publicity would be there. I think it would actually be the number 1 most covered thing in the playoffs, just that turnover chain by itself. Everybody's intrigued by it. Oregon went to Home Depot and bought them one. I know you've seen the Oregon turnover. They went to Home Depot and bought them a turnover chain. But I just think it's intriguing. And, game day said was the loudest stadium that had been in a few years, and their ratings, ESPN ratings, were way up with Miami the last 2 weeks. And a lot of that, believe it or not, a lot of that plays a part in how they select this what kind of following they're going to have.
You're right. It does. It shouldn't. And a lot of people think that's why Ohio State got in last year. It shouldn't. They should be able to strip the names off and just go by what they see and what's on the paper. But you're right. That sways a lot of people. That turnover chain worked out for you. There's no question about that. It would look foolish, and it will for Oregon, if you're giving up 50 points a game, and just because you're causing 2 turnovers, you got guys parading around on the sideline with turnover chain on, and you're losing 45-14. That doesn't look too good. But you guys have done it upright and made it work.
Yeah, it's a recruiting tool too, man. A lot of the recruit want to, especially on the defensive side of the football. I give it to Coach Manny Diaz. It was something he came up with. It said Vince Wilfork, helped out with it. And that's the one thing I love about the University of Miami is the players and the alum always give back. They're always there, and it helps out. And it's a family atmosphere. There's a few other schools I can say. Your Ohio State Buckeyes, those guys are always around the program. Clemson guys to always come, University of California, those guys seem to always come back. And that's why those schools may not be great all the time, but they're always good because the alumni and the student athletes, they always come back and they represent those colleges very well. So the thing about college football is NFL players go to their school forever.
Amen to that. I say that all the time, exactly the way you just said it right there. That's what makes it beautiful. The loyalty is for a lifetime. Yeah, you got a few sporadic college transfers, but basically 99% of them, yes, for a lifetime, loyal to that school and will forever be a Cane, a Wolverine, a Buckeye, whatever it is.
That's just how it is. You look at NFL, when they on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, they call it what school you play for. When they introduce them in the starting lineup, what I'm saying? It's, the Ohio State Buckeye, it's, Michigan. Like you say, they're synonymous with the players. And that's the one thing I love. I haven't even watched too much NFL this year.
All right. We're going to send you to and Alonzo, I apologize if I cut you off. I didn't hear you say anything there, and I think we're breaking up a little bit. But I want to make sure that everybody knows where Alonzo's located. Alonzo 1219, the U family. That's his YouTube channel. You got to check him out right there for Miami football coverage. It's a whole lot of fun, and he knows his stuff. Otherwise, no way I would have him on. So, Zoe, we appreciate it. You have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon.
I want to say one thing. I tried to get it in last time, so I'm going to get it in this time because I think you had cut it off a little bit. But I appreciate Rogers for what he do. We give all us college guys a lot of publicity to get us out here and talk about our schools. Please subscribe to his channel. He helps I look at all his videos from even when it's Tennessee and all those other schools, and he really does big for the college fan base. Subscribe to the channel, blow him up. All Hurricane fans, subscribe to Mr. Rogers. Appreciate it.
So I appreciate you. Have a great weekend with your family. Kick back and enjoy some time off.
All right, brother. I appreciate it. Represent my U, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.